Welcome to Poems by Yaz. This is episode 25, and my topic today is war. My poem is called Wars of the World, so today I'll share two inspirational stories from the war. One story is during the Holocaust and how two best friends got separated. So stay tuned for that story. And the second story is during the Vietnam War and how a family got separated and they had so many challenges. Life is not easy, especially when it comes to war. So stay tuned for those stories and I hope they inspire you. But first, let's go to my poem called Wars of the World. All the wars in the world lead to further separation of different countries, as each country takes a side whether to participate or ignore. Soldiers go to war, and people die in the street as grenades and gunfire are launched. The innocent people try to hide or run, for this memory in their mind will be a scar that they have to live with every day, and things in their life will never change. As the tragedy in their life from the war will never go away, but they can continue to pray and hope for peace one day. My first story is about two young girls that met when they were 6 years old, Betty and Anna Maria. They were instant friends. It's really great when you meet a friend and you connect so well. This is how these girls connected. They had similar hobbies, they did ballet together, and they went to the synagogue. So the last memory they have is when they hugged each other, and it was during the Holocaust, so this was the last time they saw each other. And they always thought about their best friend, but they assumed that their friend had been killed. A lot of people during this time went into hiding or they didn't survive. Many decades later, they're in their 90s now, there was a cataloger that came across their stories. It was almost impossible for these two girls to find each other because they changed their last names. But somebody helped them and they found each other, and a Zoom call was arranged because this story was also in the media. And when they saw each other for the first time on the Zoom call, they were so happy and they really got along really well, and they reconnected like they did that first time they met, and how they had an instant connection when they were 6 years old. They still have that connection and they still communicate with each other weekly, and they also visit each other because they each have their own family now. So war can separate people and it brings a lot of tragedy. Unfortunately, a lot of their extended family did pass away and they were killed during the war, but their nuclear family did survive. So everybody has their own struggles and people have different ways of getting through those struggles. But it could take a miracle like this one, and look at how they were reconnected again. It's very difficult when somebody has memories of war and people dying. It's a very tough situation. I know somebody that was in that situation and was having many nightmares. But when she had counselor and counseling and was able to discuss her feelings, she came to the bottom of why she always had those nightmares. And those nightmares went away. And she started taking care of herself and going to wellness retreats and meeting different people and traveling to Paris, Greece, and different areas of Europe. And that made her feel really good, and she was able to find herself, and she wasn't scared of her old memories anymore because she made new memories. My second story is about a family separating. It's about during the Vietnam War. There's a husband and wife that had 5 children, 4 daughters that were very young and a son. There were 2 different ships leaving the country, and the father and 4 daughters were on the one ship, and he tried to pass his 4-year-old daughter over from one of the boats to the other boat where the mom was with the son, and that's when the 2 ships started separating, so they ended up not going in the same boat. And one boat with the mom and son stayed in Vietnam, and the daughters and the dad, they ended up going to Guam and then the United States. They stayed at a refugee camp for a while, and then they had a sponsor. So the sponsor helped the father get a job as a dishwasher temporarily, and they made their life in the US. So after they separated, they did live separate lives, and they wrote letters to each other for 2 years, and they didn't talk to each other after that, because the sad truth was that the father's brother was not that happy that they went to America and he didn't. So he told his brother that his wife got remarried in Vietnam, but that wasn't the truth. It was a fib. and that made the family disconnect and not communicate for many, many years. So they didn't have communication because the father was so upset because he thought that his wife got remarried, and that really wasn't the truth. But many years later, when the girls were older, they had a exchange student that was from Vietnam, and she wrote a letter for them to reconnect again with the mother. So they mailed that letter and they were able to reconnect from a distance. And when they spoke to each other, they realized that the truth was the mother never did remarry. And they didn't see the father again because when the father was in his 70s, he passed away of cancer. And the mother found out that one of the daughters was pregnant, and she made a trip to go to the United States to see her. And the mother didn't speak very much English at all. She mainly spoke Vietnamese, and the kids couldn't communicate well with her because they spoke English. And that didn't matter, because when they met each other, they still had that mother-daughter love. They didn't see each other for 42 years. So when they saw each other, they felt so much love for each other, and they used apps on the phone to communicate through the language translation. And they went to the grave of the father, and the mother cleaned the grave because that was the customary in Vietnam, that they cleaned the tombstone. And they got to share memories and catch up on all their missed time. Even though they didn't speak the same language, they were brought up in a different culture, they still showed that they have that love. I hope you enjoyed my stories for this topic, war, for Poems by Yaz. And next week, my topic is called Picture Perfect. So join me next week, and I hope I can inspire you.